the importance of social connections, because yes, this is about getting more dates with the right kind of women, but it's also about creating amazing relationships in general. There's only two types of relationships. There's short-term relationships and long-term relationships, transactional and long-term. And the most amount of money you'll ever make, the most amount of happiness you'll get, the most fulfillment that ever comes from long-term relationships. It's not the short shit. In order for you to have amazing long-term relationships with women as well as with men, you first of all have to know who you are. Who am I as a man? And most of you haven't even defined that. Now, Jordan Peterson says, values are not created, they're discovered. So there's certain things you can only ever find out about yourself, you can never define them. The fact that I hate cooking, I can't change that. That's just a fact of life. I don't like sitting down and, I don't know, knitting, right? I never cared about school. I got an F in arts. I got an F in French. Didn't care. There's certain things I'm naturally excited about. So just get what Gary Vee talks about. It's self-awareness. There's certain things that are just you, but there's other things where you define yourself as well. But you have to become clear. There's a beautiful book by Jorge Bucay written, or however you pronounce his name, called The Three Questions. Die drei Fragen in German. I'm not sure if it exists in English, but it exists in Spanish and in German. The three questions are basically the following. Who am I, where am I going, and with whom? If you don't know who you are, what your values are, what you stand for, what you're willing to die for, what you're willing to live for, you'll never be able to attract the right kind of women. In order to be able to dominate an environment like a nightclub, in order to be able to hold attention with a beautiful woman you just approached in real life, you gotta know who you are. You have to be absolutely and utterly willing to let her go if she's not compatible with your core values. But you don't even know whether there's compatibility or not if you're not aiming for the right thing, as in something that's compatible with you. So figure out, who am I? What are my values? What do I stand for? Second, where am I going? What are my goals? What are my professional goals? Because remember, progress equals happiness. Women value ambition more than current success. Are women excited by success? Of course. Women are super excited by the fact if you're a successful man, but that's just because the success is the outward manifestation of the kind of man you are. Women value ambition more than success. It doesn't matter where you are. If you plateau and then you just let yourself go, you have no goals, you don't work on your body, you don't work on your career, you don't work on your relationship, they're not going to give a fuck about you. The right kind of women really value success. So ambition more than success. So in order for you to be ambitious, you have to have a goal. You have to have, as Jordan Peterson says, a North Star. Like a goal that presents a vision of the future than what's better today for you as well as for other people. So know where you're going. Because let me tell you something. A lot of this, yeah, there's technical details. I teach all that shit in detail in the coaching programs. But there's technical details you have to learn. But a lot of it is all about energy. Remember when I met my ex-wife and she was really into me? No, she was the wrong person. If I were to meet her right now, I'd communicate in a way where she'd get offended immediately. He knows it's true. He's laughing because he knows it's true. Because he met her. Immediately. The conversation wouldn't last more than 20 seconds. She'd be like, no, thank you. But that's good.
I have a question about that. In terms of the initial approach, so there's people that can actually just do it from vibes and not know about, opening statement of empathy, and so on, not know the steps, right? So what do you think is more important, knowing the actual steps or just vibes?
Both.
But you can.
More important is vibes, as in your mood, your energy, your state. Much more important than the actual technique. Obviously, the right words at the right point in time get girls to crack up, 100%. Not because it's scripted, but because you have the skill set. So for example, in my coaching program, we have a coaching call called Storytelling and Verbal Agility Practice Call, where we practice that shit, right? But you can practice that yourself as well. But you've got to practice it. So the right words at the right point in time are super effective. But it's not about having something scripted. Vibe and your state, the way you feel, is so much more important than the actual words themselves. Because you can say the right words, but if you're not congruent and you're weird in your body language and it's not authentic, she's like, there's something weird about that guy. She doesn't know what it is. She probably hasn't spent hundreds of thousands of hours consuming personal development content, but she'll be like, yeah, something is off. Because we as human beings, intelligent human beings in particular, are very good at picking up on these cognitive dissonances, like incongruencies in characters. So it's both, really. It's a good question, though. So the third question then is, once you know who you are and you know where you're going, it's what kind of a person do I want in my life? And that relates to the woman I want, the life partner, the kind of women, and finally the dream partner, as well as to men. You have to be ruthless at cutting out the wrong people. Now, we've all heard that, right? That you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most amount of time with. 100%, that's so true. Because the right kind of people are going to give you energy, the right kind of people are going to give you inspiration, but most importantly, the right kind of people are going to give you love and connection. It's the number one thing. Don't forget that. The number one reason you spend time with anybody in your life is to connect. It's just to be with them. As corny as it sounds, we are human beings, not human doings. We always do cool shit. It's not about the activity primarily, it's about connecting and bonding. It's the number one thing, because our brain was designed to reward us with oxytocin and all kinds of other amazing neurotransmitters to make us feel really, really good if we're in the company of loved ones. That's what we've been trained to do, because why is that? Well, 300,000 years ago or so, or even longer, when human beings came into its current form, the way we are right now, Homo sapiens, I believe, or whatever it's called, we were living in tribes of like 100, 150, 200 people. And that would be the people we'd spend our life with. Right? And we realized whenever we're with a tribe, the probability of survival is a lot higher if you're with the tribe than if you're outside of the tribe. Because, well, Darwin, the people who left the tribe got eaten or starved or killed by other tribes. So we realized our brain, this is in your brain, this is biology. Your brain realizes if you're too isolated for too long a period of time, doesn't matter whether you're introverted or extroverted, your brain elevates levels of cortisol and adrenaline, and you will get depressed. Everybody will get depressed and anxious. And yeah, maybe there's one occasion of a monk who's been in some fucking somewhere, right? Yes, but 99% of people will get depressed, will get anxious, will just feel shit if they're isolated for too long. Johann Hari, we spoke about that earlier. Johann Hari wrote a book called Real Causes for Anxiety and Depression. And anxiety and depression are really heavy terms. You can replace that with feeling shit. Basically heavy negative emotions. Anxiety and depression. The number one reason for anxiety, depression, and addictions is a lack of high quality social contact. We don't spend enough time with people we actually like. That is the number one thing. And I can tell you that, man, when I was with my ex-wife, 20 push-ups.
20 push-ups.
It's okay, it was just the most epic rant. It was okay. It's all good. No, it's okay. So when I was with my ex-wife, I isolated myself. We stopped hanging out. We didn't spend that much time, right? We spent some amount of time, but not that much, right? This is really important. Yes, if you apply all this, you're going to find an amazing girlfriend and life partner. You're going to get amazing dates. But you always have to make sure to have amazing male friends around you. If you don't have enough, go to the gym, go to masterminds, talk to people everywhere. I make friends everywhere, don't I? Everywhere. In the fucking supermarkets, I don't give a shit. Now, I'm very selective as to who makes it into the core, who I actually want to spend time with. Because I can connect with people easily, but it's like a lead funnel, right? You want to meet a lot of people and then qualify really hard, just like with women. You want to have a lot of amazing options and then cut out most people, like a funnel, so that only a few are left in the end, the ones who are actually compatible with who you are. Because being with the wrong people is going to fuck you up. Because if you're with one woman only, you're not going to be able to be fully yourself. You're not even going to be able to disagree. You're not going to be able to set boundaries because you're afraid of losing her. And you'll always be afraid of losing people if you don't have a lot of people in your life. You need, not a lot, you don't need hundreds, but you need 5, 10 friends or family members that are there for you no matter what. If you have that, that will give you strength. Friends and high quality relationships is the most important thing. Yes, your career matters. Yes, making progress. Yes, your mission in life as a man is, in one sense, your purpose is the most important thing. Because if you don't know where you're going, if you're not self-actualizing yourself, as Maslow would say, you're no good for the other people because you don't feel fulfilled either. So it's not just relationships, but it is the most important thing. Because if men isolate themselves, they kill themselves. Do you know that men actually kill themselves over this shit? Do you know how many men really, really suffer? Like really. It's a really serious thing. Dating is fun, man. We talk a lot of shit, right? It's fucking funny, right? Sucking dick left, right, and center. Girls, not us, you know? It's a fun subject, but it's also really, really serious. It's really serious to the extent that there's millions of people that are suffering right now. What does the average American say how many close friends they have? Less than one. I think the average American is probably the same, or maybe a little bit more, more family values, but it's the same everywhere. People don't have enough close friends. And that's one of the most ridiculous things. I work with people who are ridiculously financially successful, who are somewhat financially successful, who are financially successful enough to afford the coaching program, but it doesn't matter how smart or whatever you are, most of them lack high quality friends. And you can actually be proactive about it. You can tomorrow, go to the gym, ask the guy next to you to spot you, or say, bro, could you make a quick video for my Instagram story? Have a conversation, meet him. Oh, that's a potential friend. But you gotta make an effort. You can go to the supermarket. You can go play tennis. If you want to meet high-quality friends, you can go to tennis clubs, the yacht club, right? Online masterminds. Connect yourself. You can be very proactive about it. It's one of the most important things that most men never do, which is connect to other men. And that strategy, by the way, is amazing for the gym. If you're in the gym and you want to meet her, then one of the things you can simply say is, excuse me, would you mind taking a quick video for my Instagram story? Don't interrupt her in the middle of the set. Then she takes a video. Then you throw out a couple of comments or one comment, see if she's somewhat interested in the conversation. You build a little bit of attraction. If not, you let her go. If yes, quick 2 to 3 minute conversation, exchange Instagram, because that's what she filmed the thing for. If you don't use Instagram, then you can simply use it to check the form later on. And then you connect and you got a number. Very simply. We can make this shit happen, but we have to assume personal responsibility for doing it. If we don't assume personal responsibility for creating the outcomes we want in our dating life, it's not going to happen. Nobody's going to come to save you. No one. You got to take these steps yourself. And it's a lot of action that's required. Now, you can shortcut that with the right kind of strategies, but action is required. Social contact is super important.